All right, all right, all right. Welcome everybody to the XBL Party USA stream, episode 19. Boy, we have got a banging show for y'all tonight. A lot of hot takes. As most of you know, we didn't have a show last week. We had a lot of technical difficulties, and that was not possible. So we are playing catch up. So hold on to your seats. You're getting ready to get 2 weeks of download. Well, we have got a great guest tonight. We will get to that in order. But let's start off with Power Man 4K. Sir, what have you been playing, brother?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, chat and panel? I don't know, man. I've been kind of all over the place. So with the release of Tiny Tina, I decided that it was probably best for me to at least finish the Borderlands 3 campaign because I was super slack on that. So I went back and I beat that game this week. So I knocked that out, which is pretty cool. I enjoyed the main campaign. Kind of curious on the DLC rather, but we'll see what happens. And finished up Miles Morales, and I've been doing the. I checked out the Apex Legends update on the next generation consoles. It's pretty solid, so it's pretty good fun. But that's it, man. Just been doing that and working.
Nice, nice, nice. And I see you've been fighting that Twitter war like the good warrior you are.
Oh, always just fighting stupidity everywhere I go.
Yeah, I know. It's rough out there. Assassin Lupa, our esteemed guest and my personal longtime friend. How are you doing, Lupa? And I know you have been playing a lot. I see you every time I sign on Xbox Live. You're all over the place with the games you play, wide spectrum of the games you like. What have you been playing?
Uh, Hello, it's good to be here, and I've been playing Tunic, which I left to play Tiny Tina, and I've been playing some Valhalla in between because of Dawn of Ragnarok. So, yeah, I've been playing a wide variety of games. I love all games, most games. Let's say I don't like tactics and I don't like strategy games, but other than that, I'm fine. And yeah, that's what I've been playing, and it's great to be here. Let's have a great chat.
Yes, yes, yes. And we will. It's about to get heated up in here. Fabio, my Brazilian warrior. What's up, brother? What you been playing?
How you doing? How you doing? Great to be here as always, Lupa. First of all, before we start this episode, I just wanna say sorry. That's all I'm gonna say here. You figure it out
That's kind
for
of
why.
harsh.
Yeah, don't you be slagging off my Bobster. No.
Okay,
See, I
just
brought
joking.
defense tonight, Fabio.
Are you a lawyer? There we go. Okay, but nothing new. Like I played a tiny bit of Halo Infinite because I wanted to get the final reward of the 10 Rye event. I was about to play. I was trying to play the tactical events, but then the events just ended. And yesterday they announced that we are giving all the 10 ranks for free for the people who started to play it because we fucked up the progression system or something like that for that event. I don't know. And what else did I play? Oh yeah, I played a bit of Madden 22 and Super Mega Baseball, the first game. And that's it for me.
All right. Now, Slayer exclusive. Have you been playing any mainstay games, or you've just been gamer score hunting on the lower tier of popular games?
Rather like a games, brother.
No, actually, I haven't really been playing any of those games. I've been playing my regular games such as Kings of Amalur and Dying Light 2, and I actually as Assassin Lupo was talking about, I actually played through Dawn of Ragnarok. It was about 20 hours, and I played through that pretty much last weekend from start to finish. So it was pretty cool. And that was it.
Nice.
Kind of been it for me. Well, other than my regular like Fortnite and Rocket League and a little bit of Sea of Thieves.
Are you
And then
playing the Are you playing the new Fortnite mode? The
yeah,
no build mode? Is it good? Is it what we dreamed of?
Oh yeah, it's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
fun.
yeah. It's like exactly what what I've always wanted the game to be because I hate building and
Okay, that's it. I'm downloading Fortnite
Yeah,
right now.
I might go back to it now. The building used to do my head
Finally,
in.
finally.
yeah, yeah.
They,
It's
And
good.
it's and they've already confirmed that once building comes back, it's a permanent mode. Like
Or it
it's
already
not
is.
going away.
It already is a permanent mode. They actually already
Oh, it
made
already
it.
is. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So great. There you go.
thank God.
Yeah.
Like, took them long
Goodness
enough.
gracious, at last.
Took them long enough. Okay, that's it, guys. That's the end of the podcast. We are going to play Fortnite now. There we go.
Yeah, they
No,
got
no,
they
no,
got
no, 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 no.
they actually kind of like made some changes that to kind of like I guess
To
not have
make
you
it good.
impacted by the lack of the build mode, so you have like a little bit of defense because they have like an overshield now, which automatically recharges, kind of like in Halo. It's up to like basically gives you like 50 armor for free, and if you're once if you let's say you get shot and then you're out of combat for a few seconds, it recharges automatically. They added sprint, and then they also added the ability to basically like climb objects and stuff. So
Are you telling me that they done a Call of Duty in third person?
yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's just like it's like imagine if like all the stuff you probably wanted to do like in PUBG, but it's just a little bit more polished and like cartoony. That's what it feels like to me. Like it just feels like you have like a super jump and you can actually like grab ledges now and like you can I think the jump when you're sprinting can actually get you up like 1.5 floors. So you're not really bound to like just the floor anymore. You can access like if somebody's on a roof, you can push them hard. You know what I'm saying? And
Awesome.
and it's interesting because like uh, I feel like everybody has just been begging to do that for so long, and it's like I mean, not everybody is wanting to do build houses and stuff like that to fight in engagements and stuff. So I'm glad that they made that call, and me and my kids have been playing it, and we've been having a lot of fun. So
Awesome. Awesome.
All right, so KY Bob has been playing. I've been all over the board. I went back into the games I didn't finish, like Far Cry 6, Halo Infinite. Yes, I know I'm guilty. I didn't finish it, but when Xbox, you think I would finish all the games I played because Xbox has no games, but that is actually farther from the truth than it could be because I'm getting hit with so many games that I can't keep up. My backlog is just keeping getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And to stay up with the times and with the community, I need to be able to talk about the present games. So I move on to the present games. But I've been going back, Far Cry 6, Halo Infinite. Been going back and playing some Tunic. But I got to tell you right now, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands that you see on screen right now it's really piqued my interest because I don't know about everybody else, but to me, the Borderlands formula with um, the main storyline of games like 1, 2, and 3, and pre Borderlands 2 or the pre whatever it was, they started to get a little stale to me. But Tiny Tina's Wonderlands really, it feels like it's really its own game. It doesn't feel like any of the others. I mean, even when you think that it may start to feel a little familiar because of the gunplay and the loot drops and stuff like that, it spins that thought on its head, and you're like, oh wow, that's right. I can cast spells. My left bumper. I could do special abilities with my right bumper. This stuff just wasn't there, and now you've got your attributes that you can put points into when you level, such as strength and constitution and stuff like that. It's wow, and being a person that played role playing games, when I was very young in life, middle school and high school, that really appeals to me because I did like playing those paper-based games with the dungeon master, and Tiny Tina with the banter and everything else really pulls that dungeon master vibe off incredibly well. So for people out there that are thinking that, oh, this is just another board, it is not another
No.
Borderlands.
It's
And I'll be honest
D&D
with
with
you.
another name.
What'd you say?
It's D&D with another name.
Dude,
Pretty much, yeah. If D&D and Doom had a baby, you'd have Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Mhm.
if
It's so
D&D
much fun.
if D&D was a first-person shooter and it was polished, it would be this game.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It is definitely worth the $60 to pay for it. Yeah, I've got about 12 hours into it, and a lot of that's been explorations, because in the older games you didn't have like collectibles that you could find, and there's so many of this collectible on each map. Well, on this one there is, and you've got the 20-sided dice that many of you may or may not know of from playing role-playing games in the past. There's those hidden in all the areas. You've got journal entries
Poetry
hidden throughout
pages.
the areas. Yes, yeah, diary pages. Thank you. That's
Poetry.
hidden.
Poetry, darling. Poetry.
Poetry.
Yeah,
Well,
called poetry pages.
Finally, someone with culture here. It's about time.
There's a reason I invited her to the night show.
Took you long enough.
You were starting to slack on keeping Bob straight, but Lupa's here to do it. And
Wait
thank
a
you
second.
very much.
Was that my function? I thought that was the co-host function. God damn.
Whoa. Okay. Easy.
But yeah, it's a great game. I encourage everybody to check it out. If you burn out on Borderlands, you'll love it. It's the same thing you love, but so different to suck you right back into the universe.
Absolutely, because I've played all three and the prequel. So this, like I was expecting, it's going to be pretty similar, loot and shoot, but no, it is really, really different. I love the spells in it. The spells are so cool. They add another dimension, and it was needed, and it's so much fun.
Yes, especially when you're playing by yourself.
Yeah. Like I'm playing a playthrough single player, and then I've got another playthrough I'm playing with dealer and anybody else who wants to play with me. I play with everybody.
Hey, so I don't know if anybody can confirm this. Is magic like canon in Borderlands? Like is that
no?
No.
New. It's new.
It's new.
So like,
It's
what
new
is
for
like?
Tiny Tina's.
Does anybody know? Like, okay, so then, so what's up with this? So I know the sirens, like,
Basically, the spells have taken the place of grenades. You don't have any grenades in this game. In Tiny Tina's.
And when you throw your spell, if you've seen any of the gameplay from oh shoot, I forgot what's the name of the game that that one studio is working on that did the Outer Worlds?
Oh, no, not Obsidian. Oh goodness. Oh, it's gone right from my mind.
Yeah,
right from my mind too.
That's
no, you're right. It was Obsidian. Yeah,
it was Obsidian, isn't it? It's Obsidian. Yeah, I knew. I thought it was
that
a
game. What's
it's
that game they're
Obsidian.
working on?
Grounded.
No.
Oh, Avowed. That's where the magic
yes.
come in. If that's what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, if you've seen
what's
any,
going on?
if you've seen any of the gameplay from Avowed, whenever the guy goes to cast a spell, he has that rune circle that appears over his left wrist as the spell is cast. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands does the same thing. It's pretty cool. You see that rune come around the wrist as the spell goes out from your left arm. It is. Yeah. It's really neat.
And there's all different spells as well. You have to say there's the fire and forget, the casting spell, and then there's like you cast a bubble around you that can heal you and do more damage to what you're shooting at. So there's like a around you, and then there's hold, and you get like a beam. So there's all different spells that you can obtain.
Yeah, it looks like a really interesting take on the Borderlands universe, and like you guys said, I think it kind of adds like that, a little bit of fresh that I don't think that even Borderlands 3 was quite able to deliver from say Borderlands 2. I mean, I think people still kind of
Borderlands
unanimously
2 was
agree.
the GOAT.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I think we're all unanimous that Borderlands 2 was the greatest ever. So like,
But Tiny Tina's is pushing it for me at the
Yeah.
moment. It's taking first spot, even though
yeah, no. I mean, as soon as I finish up some of these other ones, I just don't, I want to save it so I can kind of focus on it, because I did that with Borderlands 3, and then you know how it is, right? Something comes out, it distracts you, and then next thing you know, like it's just sitting in your backlog, like not being paid attention to. So, yeah, so yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, it is.
right.
It's really enjoyable to play, and it's really good fun to play with friends. And I'm looking forward to Avowed as well. It's one of the games I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's in my top.
All right, so thank you, everybody. It's nice to see you all. It's nice to be seen. Subscribe, share it out. Let's get into our first topic. So I haven't had a chance to talk about this with anybody, so I'm going to get right into it. What was done last week to oh shoot, what's up, guys? I'm being horrible tonight.
Professionalism. Okay, continue. Do continue. Don't mind me.
What's her name on YouTube that got hit for playing Tunic?
Chris Rock? Oh no, sorry.
Hey, yeah, Chris Rock did get hit though, for real.
Everybody knows Chris Rock got hit. We don't have to think about that at all. Okay, we all remember that one. That might have been the biggest news of the week, if I'm being honest, right? Like that might overtake anything gaming that we have for the week, guys.
So sorry, I had to do that. Oh my God.
I was going to, but I don't want to go there again. I'm bored.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, like the poor guy's gonna get memed to death for the next year or so.
Should I leave then? Is it bad for the episode?
Back on topic. KY, take it over.
Yeah. So, the fanboys out there right now are starting to hit PlayStation Studios employees with
that bit.
What?
Yeah, with playing games that may or may not be on their service on their personal YouTube channels.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Alana Pierce.
What?
Yes,
Alana Pierce. Yeah, that's what.
Alana Pierce, who works for Santa Monica Studios. She's a writer.
Used to be with IGN.
Yep, used to be with IGN. She, on her personal YouTube channel, was streaming her playing Tunic, which many of you may or may not know, is only available on Xbox Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
She was playing this and streaming it on her personal YouTube channel and mentioned that it was on Game Pass, and immediately the fanboys went crazy, saying there should be a rule about this, and how dare she. Apparently she was promoting something, and I don't know. I've got my own opinions about it.
A YouTube Q&A because she is being harassed on Twitter again.
So okay. So is the rule like every Sony employee needs to hate on Xbox and love PlayStation no matter what?
She's a gamer. She plays all games on anything, and it's just ridiculous behavior. And it's the ponies coming out to play again, and just ignore it. It's a load of rubbish.
I mean, like, I think it's amazing how every single time someone tries to tell me, oh no, you need to see the toxicity from console wars comes really strongly from both sides, and every time someone tells me that, I see an example after that proving me the contrary, proving me that it's coming mostly from the PlayStation side. I don't know what's happening.
You know what you got to do. You get rid of it off your timeline, and what you do is you just block and mute bail.
Yeah,
and you just leave them in the dirt, like I do. I don't have no bad shit on my timeline.
Like I think that, and I just love the Twitter profiles that say, "If you block me, I win." Like what?
Yeah, that's some kind of like weird reverse psychology to like
That's a load of
allow people to
rubbish.
continue talking to them,
Yeah,
basically.
you
Ah,
win because you don't have to listen to their tripe anymore.
Jesus Christ.
Just block and move on. Don't even bother answering them because that's what they want.
And it's what I've always gone to. It's just like this like weird like fanboy mentality that they think that like these people don't just like games, right? Like nobody none of these higher end developers, none of these companies are doing this kind of stuff. I mean, you know, Phil is taking pictures with people in Sony. They're probably talking. They probably have a very good conversation. I mean, Sony is a customer of Microsoft. It makes no sense for them to be on that kind of level. There's nothing that says that anybody from Sony is not allowed to play another video game made from a different company. That's just nonsense. And honestly, it is also why I can't understand this rabid loyalty to companies that do nothing for you. 99% of the people that are on Twitter that are talking about this issue have absolutely no allegiance to these companies whatsoever. There's no reason for them to be doing that kind of stuff. So that's my take on it, man. It just makes no sense. It's ridiculous. Hopefully, you know, YouTube and Twitter and everybody else can somehow, some way, find a way to permanently ban these burner troll accounts and get them off of Twitter. In my
The
opinion,
funniest part about this whole thing is is that all these executives, they're going out, they're getting drinks together, they're getting dinner, they're picking up hookers together. I
Yeah.
mean, and and they're all laughing at these toxic fanboys, and they're like, "Look at how much this person is capping for us." This is so funny. Uh,
I mean, if
I
you
mean,
want to really go there, you need to look at the fact that not only that were they buying big studios and stuff, but they were firing a ton of their staff behind everybody's back on the sly.
Not
yeah.
just that, but they were giving bonuses for the employees from the new acquired studios to not leave. Do you remember Bungie? They offer like
They
what
paid two
one
two
bi-
odd
two
million over the
billion?
top for that.
Yeah, but just to keep the employees from leaving. Like
Mm.
what?
No, but now at the end of when they bought the studio at the beginning of this year, they fired a load of staff and nobody knew about it. And the thing is that it's underhand, and people have these stupid ideas that that they've got a badge on their chest of Sony or Xbox, Microsoft, or Nintendo, and they have to, be totally loyal to them. They don't care about your loyalty. They just care
no,
what money you'll give them. And
exactly.
the thing is you just have to say, well, I'm a gamer and I'll play what I want, where I want, how I want, on what I want, and I'll do it. And I don't care. I'm not loyal to Xbox, but I prefer the Xbox platform. But I still
How
play on my Nintendo Switch, and I
how
would play
dare
on
you
the
to have a
PlayStation.
preference? How dare you to have a preference?
Exactly, but I do. I have
How
a
can
preference, and I'm not
how
scared
can
to say so.
how
But
can you
I
say
also
that?
like Xboxes, the way they treat Xbox now, the way since Phil Spencer's been in charge, they treat their employees. They're letting them get on with what they've got to do, and they're they listen to the community, because he, being a gamer, knows what it's like, and he listens to gamers, and when he gets a lot of feedback, he acts on it. PlayStation don't care about their consumer peoples, because the thing is that if they did, they wouldn't have just put out them tier thing, subscription thing that they just have. They had an
Wait,
opportunity
whoa,
and they blew
whoa,
it.
whoa! Are we already skipping topics and going to that? Is that the second topic?
I don't know. I'm just talking, bio.
Fair enough. Okay, okay, okay. You do have a good point.
So let's
We have
continue
no
on that. Come
topics,
on, go, go,
apparently.
go.
Go, go. Okay, continue the rant.
Continue the rant, please.
Okay. Well, I think it's
I'll get the
disgusting.
popcorn.
The subscription tier is absolutely disgusting. I mean, they had a chance to make it so that it would be, it's always going to be compared to Game Pass. No matter how they do it, it's going to be compared to Game Pass. And compared to Game Pass, it's trash. Plain and simple.
Total trash.
Absolutely.
So I
trash.
want to add a little bit to that. So me and Bob were talking about this off stream, and I truly think that, like, I know a lot of people were talking about it being a competitor to Game Pass and stuff like that. But if you notice the language that Sony uses, it's almost like they're trying to dance around the service being compared to Game Pass, right? Because let's just face it, like Sony is not Microsoft, right? And I mean that in a financial sense, meaning that Sony cannot take the hit and say, hey, listen, put God of War Ragnarok in this service day one, and we'll take the hit on whatever physical copies that would have been sold in order to bolster a new subscription service. Microsoft, now being behind Xbox, they can say, hey, we're going to drop Halo Infinite, we're going to drop Forza Horizon 5, and who knows, however many other third-party titles day one. And even if you're not making any money right now, you're going to bolster your service. And that's why we're seeing the exponential growth that you're seeing in Game Pass over the course of about the last 18 months, I would say, right? So looking at it like that, I think that Sony is just trying to play a little game of dancing and doing what they want to do with this service, but all the while trying to, like, well, not as much as they're failing at it, to try to make it seem like it's not the Game Pass's competitor. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. But even so, they had a chance to do the right thing by their customer base, and they did not.
Don't forget that just over a year ago, Jim Ryan on camera said we are working on an answer for Game Pass. And now we get the details of PS Plus Premium and the other tiers of the service. So to say it's not a competitor is
that
denying
I'm saying
that
they can't compete, right? Like they just can't. There's no way. It's impossible. And what I think
can't
they
compete
felt
day and date, but they could have given their customer base something.
Right. Well, if we're really being honest with it, right? Like, think about this: their quarterly statement just dropped. So basically, they were basically allowed to say right before the quarterly statement that, hey, we've got a new service. We've just combined PS Plus and PS Now essentially, and made these tiers, right? So going into the quarter, they supposedly have an answer for whatever PS Now was supposed to be, and then it ended up not being, right? So that was probably something that kept coming up, and like, what are they going to do with it? Are we going to shut it down like View and PS Home and the other areas that PlayStation has shut down in the past, right? And that focus, I think, now is going to be on trying to give this idea that PS Plus is now this large bolstering library of things. Now, in my personal opinion, I got to see the games, right? I got to see what's going on. I'm interested in a couple of the games that they mentioned, but if we're talking like a yearly subscription and we're talking about something that's, fairly close, especially the premium tier, to what Game Pass has, I mean, until they pull that plug or make something happen, I don't see it ever standing toe to toe, but obviously Jim Ryan is doubling down on what he said. He made the quote and said that basically that's not what they do. It's not virtuous to their system. And from that point on, they're going to, it sounds like, double down on, continuing to sell games at the price that they're selling them. And then at some point down the road, it either goes into the service or it goes onto a PC, I would imagine, right? In a year or, however long they decide.
Let me just interrupt you for just a little bit, but ladies and gentlemen, Noof Nuken.
Boom, 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 baby. Woo! What is happening, people? Good to be here on the Xbox Live Party podcast. Yes, there's a party in the house, and I was invited. Woo! Let's go.
For respecting an invitation, you are always welcome here.
I know that.
Oh,
You guys have made that very clear to me, and I appreciate it.
Oh, goodness, what, Bob?
You get to hang out with Assassin Lupa. Double dose of awesomeness.
Love you, Noopy.
Love you too, woman.
Oh, it's great. I love it. I love our community. It's so great.
Anyway, getting back to what Powerman said, I was going to subscribe to this new PlayStation subscription so I could play the games that I wanted to play. Old God of War, Horizon Forbidden, Horizon Zero Dawn, all of those, Ghost, whatever it's called, I always forget. Tsushima, Ghost of Tsushima.
It's like sushi.
Tsushima, yeah, Tsushima. And I wanted to play all of those, and now they can get lost. So how are they making money?
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
gotta be.
it's hard. It's hard to battle with it.
It is, because the fact of the matter is, none of those games am I going to get without jumping through 100 hoops, and I can't be asked. I'm not paying for cloud gaming when I get it free. I'm not paying $70 more, $10 more for a game when I can get it for less, and I'm not paying for a subscription service. It's just Plus and Now put together, and then they're charging you more for it as well. So no, they can go sit on my finger and spin.
I mean, yeah, you got to be honest with yourself here. And all the PlayStation fanboys had to be honest with themselves as well. If you are into their first party the way you say you are, you've already bought all these first party games. So
it works for them. I'm not saying it doesn't work for them, mind. It works for the people that are already subscribed for those, but it doesn't work for new people coming in unless they're new and they don't understand the system and they're bamboozled. But the fact of the matter is, they're
Correct.
also putting the back comp behind a paywall. You have to stream 1, 2, and 3 PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 console games, old games. And you also, the thing that it just winds me up, all of it. When you go through the list, it's no, 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 no. And if they wanted to get more money and new money in, then they should have done something better. They should have given their customers a better deal, and they haven't. They've just mixed the two together and said, "There you go, that'll be it." I'm not
Correct.
paying for it, and a lot of people shouldn't.
You're still not getting free access to the bangers that have come out in the last 4 years. You're still not getting God of War to free to play. You're still not getting Death Stranding free to play. You're still not getting Ratchet and Clank free to play. You're still not getting Horizon Zero Dawn.
14 months old when it releases. So if they're saying they're going to put that on there and Spider-Man Morales, that's 14 months old.
I do got to correct that, because if you have PlayStation Plus, you do have access to what they call the PlayStation Hits collection, so you can play God of War, you can play Ratchet and Clank, you can play Uncharted 4, you can play various other games that are on that service that you can download.
Horizon Zero Dawn is on there too.
They're all there.
Can you play them in the new system though?
Yes, you can play them on the PS5. Yes, it doesn't matter which.
No, I mean, can you play with the new subs? I mean, the new tier system. Sorry.
Yeah, so the PS Plus is actually the essential tier. So like that would still, the PS Plus collection is its own separate entity, and they confirmed that it's going to remain its own separate entity. So it's kind of like its own thing for like new PlayStation 5 owners, and you have access to, if I'm not mistaken, new if it's like 20. Right? Is it like 20?
Yeah, there's close to 20. There's some really phenomenal games in there.
There
is some third-party stuff too. That's not just the Sony stuff. Like I think they
Fallout,
have
Fallout, Call of Duty, Black Ops, some other stuff.
Yeah, there's a few other ones in there. Yeah, I didn't get the chance to download them all, but no, like they have that there. Really, they've just, at the end of the day, what they've done is they've added a large collection of backwards compatible titles that you can either download. Obviously, if they're PS3, you can only stream them. I assume that's still something to do with the cell processor and probably the length of time it would take to make legitimate backwards compatible titles out of those. But it is what it is. It's just plain and simple. It's still a good bang for the buck. It's just not overly enticing. It just doesn't make your jaw drop. I mean, but Xbox guys, they really went out on a limb with especially the day and date stuff. And I am going to agree with Jim Ryan. I'm not saying that putting their games in day one wouldn't help, but at the same time, they know their audience well enough to know that they'll go out and buy them for full price and then double dip again when they put them in down the road. So basically they're maximizing double sale potential, because those people that they're going to own PlayStation Plus regardless. They're going to buy their $70, $80 version of the game. And then when it goes on for free, well, those people who are just, they can't make up their mind to get PlayStation Plus or get that whole service, they'll jump in. But, Microsoft, the only reason they did it is because in order to bring with a smaller user base, a smaller install, and to make Game Pass extremely enticing was they had to do it. And they had to do it on the strength of their own first party, because you can't sit back and rely on the third party companies to pad your collection, because you don't know, like, who knows how many other companies are going to have their own game service in the next 5 to 10 years. You you only can control your own destiny. You can't control what other companies are going to do. Plus you can't control how much they're going to charge you to put said games into the service. So as more and more services come out there, this is what we're going to see. Is we're going to see all these guys like Amazon and the Facebooks and people starting to pay, just like Paramount is paying and Disney's paying and various other people are paying, to have various exclusive content underneath their own stable. And it's going to come down to a war who's got the most content, more so than the price at the end of the day.
And that's also too why you're seeing this large acquisition season happening, is because all these major companies are seeing the writing on the wall, and they need content in their stable in order to give everybody what they want as far as gaming. I mean, let's face it, gamers are ravenous, man, and they want more and more and more and more and more. Every week we're looking for, like, okay, what's new? What's hot? What are we going to be doing? What are we going to be playing? And Xbox saw the writing on the wall, and they were like, we have to get these guys in our studios, in our stables, first party, so we can control the cadence at which games are going to be released and shot out. Back to Noof's point that I wanted to talk about, because he was right on the money. Like I said before, Sony can't afford, they need to maximize profit everywhere, right? Because PlayStation is their baby, and they don't have the backing of $1 trillion corporation to be able to feed them if necessary, right? So Sony has to sell them the games, for $70, $80, $100, right? And then they have to rely on them, other people to double dip, or to maybe subscribe to the premium services. You know what I mean? Xbox is just in a better position financially to do that. And then, like I said, we're already starting to see the fruit of that. And I think it's okay for them to have two different methods. I think it hits two different types of consumers. They have the consumers out there that are willing to pay the money, and some that love subscription services and they're all about it, and they dive in and they spend the money over the course of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I definitely think, when it comes to Sony, they'll definitely keep the single player stuff away from their service, so they can maximize sales on the game, and then down the road it'll just be a bonus factor. But I wouldn't be surprised if they put some of their say future multiplayer titles perhaps in there, if not day and date, probably within a very short window, because if there's one thing we all know, is that Sony is struggling to get multiplayer prominence, right? They don't have a lot of games that keep people invested in their ecosystem. And again, if a lot of the third party stuff kind of goes over, hence the fact that Microsoft's got that big deal still, in fruition. I mean, eventually, let's just say eventually, Call of Duty and all those games do end up exclusive to the Game Pass ecosystem, right? What does Sony do then? So I think they're leaving the door wide open, but that's where something like Destiny will come in huge for them. They're going to need something with a name reputation, and then they'll wait and see what Microsoft is going to do. This whole service isn't done. This is just get it out there. They're going to be very reactionary, as Sony typically always is. They're going to wait for Microsoft to do the first jump in the pool, and then Sony's going to see if the water's hot, and if so, they'll do it too. But like I said, they're going to maximize their single player games on the retail basis of selling physical discs and digital copies, and then based on where the market is going or how the competition stacks up, they may change that slightly, but I definitely think they're going to need some big multiplayer stuff to really pad the value for this PlayStation service.
So when you say they're reactionary, that in a way doesn't make any sense, because Game Pass from day one has always been first party titles in there day and date. And that really builds a rapport with your fan base. When I think of Game Pass as my home for all my first party games forever.
Bob,
excluding some of the games that have licensing issues, like the older Forza Horizons. But You know, I
Bob,
know all my
I gotta
first
admit
party
here,
games.
Bob. I gotta admit, I personally, while I think it's amazing what Microsoft has done, I don't agree with their model either. I don't think they should have put their games day and date on the service either. To be honest with you, I would have left my games at least 6 months to a year before dropping any of that shit on the service because people are going to buy it regardless. They're going to invest for all of them for the amazing value, and they didn't have to do it. They did, and I know why they did, but they didn't have to. Like I think that was wrong because they could have easily sold, 10 million copies of Halo before they even put this thing on Game Pass.
5 million Forza Horizon 5s in a week.
Right.
Yeah. So I
But the
want guys.
thing is, I
Oh, go
think
ahead.
personally that Sony have done what they've done purely because they want to draw third-party studios to their platform, and this is the way they're going to do it. That's what they've done.
I would say it's a bit more than that because they just acquired Bungie and they confirmed
Who
by
cares?
what they said that and they just confirmed that those games are not going to be exclusive. Probably Bungie is the first
Bungie's
of
staying
many futures.
independent.
Yeah, but still, it continues to be a Sony property. So what I mean is, probably Bungie is the first of many future acquisitions that are going to be multi-platform that are going to be
Of course, because they're
day
looking
and
for gas
then.
games.
Yep.
They're looking for gas games. It's simple as that. And if they can draw third party to their to go into their subscription tiers, then they're going to make more money. So that's what they're trying to do with this
Yep.
subscription tiers is to entice third party studios to come over to Sony and go on
And
their
like
sort of Game Pass or
and like
whatever it's called. Premium's a rubbish word. Well,
uh,
they couldn't have called it something better than
They
premium.
should have went with platinum and right
Yeah,
and
something. Yeah, because of platinum
PlayStation
games.
bronze and gold and
yeah.
Yeah,
silver. Come on, like
exactly. Yeah.
it's right there in front of you guys.
That's what I thought too. I mean, we
It's
could have
right there
done
in
this
front of you.
subscription thing a lot better than the bosses at
Easy.
Sony did, for sure.
But I do want to interject. I want to interject with this really quick, just so that since we're on the topic, this is from Jim Ryan, and I quote this: "The way the world is changing so very quickly at the moment, nothing is forever. Who would have said even 4 years ago that you would see AAA PlayStation IP being published on PC?" So I don't want to cast anything in stone at this stage. All I'm talking to today is the approach we're taking in the short term. The way our publishing model works right now, it doesn't make any sense. But things can change very quickly in this industry, as we all know. That type of language tells me that Sony is sitting back. They're going to launch this thing. They're going to wait and see, and they're going to see how it reacts. They're leaving the door wide open for stuff to happen later on if they have to be agile and they have to adjust, just like any good company would. If this thing turns out and it flops like a big turd, it's not going to matter to them because they're going to say, oh, well, we never really said that this was going to be the way it was going to be. And they flip their marketing. And next thing you know, something that they said they weren't going to do, they're going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
And not just that, Sony is the kind of company that, for what we saw, it never going to admit that it's wrong. So they raised their prices to $70, and if they ended up putting their first party games, they ended on this subscription service, probably that would be a statement of them say, okay, we were wrong to raise the price. No, they wouldn't do that because they want to get
No.
that money. They want to keep on
Exactly.
getting that money.
They won't
And
do
like
that
and like
because
our
their PlayStation fans will always they just bowed down and said we'll pay it.
we are
If they'd
getting.
have talked with their wallets and not paid it, they would have changed their mind.
I mean, like we were listening to people by saying, we believe in generations. That was just a way to get
Oh, here
more
we go.
money, to get more pre-orders of PS5
Mm.
consoles, and then what happened? Games went to PS4. Our games are never going to leave the PlayStation consoles. What happened? We now have games coming to PC. We don't believe in subscription service because we think it's not gonna give us quality games. What happened? Now they are having a quality service. We get our studios and increase them organically. We don't go through buying sprees. What happened?
Yes.
They went and bought Bungie, or
So
they
like
invested
so
in Bungie, we should
And
say.
so like
Fire Sprite, Haven Studios.
so like I'm not trying to say that Sony is a bad guy or something like that. I'm just saying that Sony has an asshole mentality by stating that we are never wrongs. We just like
You
to do
know,
things differently.
Yeah,
what's
but
funny is that Sony didn't really have that mentality before 2013. When they
Mm.
saw Microsoft's failures on the Xbox One launch, they took advantage of it, and I feel like they're still living like it's 2013 when they really need to realize that Microsoft fully backed Xbox in 2017, and things have changed.
Mm.
So
I
Yeah, when
think
they
they're
cleared
going to
the
have
money
to
for the
change what they're
acquisition.
doing.
Yeah.
They will. I think even if they just put one game every so often in day and date, they're going to have to do it eventually because this sub tier thing is not going to compete. And let's face it, it has to compete. They will get the core fan base. They will always get that, and the people that are already subscribed because they already paid that money for that. But but they're still going to be paying slightly more than what they're paying now
Yeah.
for Now and Plus. So they
Do you
are going to
guys?
get some money back that way. But I do think that eventually, if they want to compete, I mean, I know if I buy four $70 games a year, then that's my Game Pass sub a
Yeah.
year. And that is not, I don't want to only be playing 4 games a year, which is why I've never been a fan of Sony, because you play a game, say like Ratchet and Clank, then you had to wait all the way to Horizon Forbidden West came out. How many months? Damn. You complete that game in a month and you're done. If you take that long.
You guys
So,
want to hear the funniest part of this whole thing? The funniest part of this whole thing is on April 5th, MLB The Show 22 is going to
Yeah,
get Game
that's
Pass for free,
yes,
but you
that's
got to
That's
pay $80
hilarious.
on PlayStation.
Yeah,
Yeah, the fact
that's
that they
so
didn't at least
funny,
say
isn't it, Noob?
something
Oh
about
my
it.
I
goodness.
wet
What?
myself. I
I mean,
wet
like,
myself when I heard
okay,
that.
I gotta be honest. Probably during the next year, Sony is gonna try to get some advantage by saying, okay, now it's going to be available on our subscription service because like this is a first party game.
You better
This
hope
was
so.
like
So I want to know,
just
always the
just two
quiet.
seconds. 2 seconds, Bob. So sorry about that, but like Slayer, you are way too quiet.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, I think Bob
Slayer,
was about to go get him. He's about to
the
go get him.
the polite individual that always waits his turn. Slayer exclusive. I
Slayer,
really
try
want to
to be
hear
an
your
asshole.
thoughts on this.
No, yeah, I was enjoying the conversation, and like I said, I don't really like to cut anyone off, so I was just waiting to see, what you guys were gonna say. But yeah, for me, I kind of, I have to be honest, like I kind of expected this to happen. Like we all kind of saw this coming, with all the leaks and stuff like that, and I have to say, I'm not impressed. I don't like the price. I don't think I'm gonna get this because it just doesn't really appeal to me. Like okay, cool. They merged PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, but like I don't really want to stream games. Like I don't enjoy that. Like I've tried out XCloud, and it's great when I'm out out and about. But if I'm at home, I don't want to stream games because I've actually tried it. I tried the trial when it first came out, and I'm maybe it has improved since then, but I was literally like on my Fios network, which I get like almost 500 megabytes per second, and megabits per second I should say, and it was really laggy. I didn't enjoy it at all, and I think the price is a little bit too high in my opinion. I don't. Yeah, I'm not really sure who this is for, and I'm not really sure how many people. I mean, I'm sure the fanboys and stuff like that will get it like day one, but I don't know. For me, it's definitely not impressive. And and I think Noof touched upon this. I was actually like thinking about this before. I don't understand why they couldn't do something where they said, okay, guys, we can't really do day and date releases on our on the subscription service, but maybe like 6 months down the line or like a year down the line, we'll just like everything that's first party will be free. Like give some time to it, for people to actually buy it, but eventually it'll be free. Like I don't understand why they can't do that at least. They
Maybe
definitely can't compete with Game Pass, but
maybe like EA Play does a 10-hour demo or something like that.
At
You
least,
know,
I mean, something, you know. I think they said that they were going to do that with some of their games. I think like God of War is going to have like a 4 or 5 hour demo, I believe. But like, still, that's like that's not enough, you know. Like if I'm, you know, if I have, you know, if their biggest competitor has a service that allows us, and I get it, like Microsoft has more money and everything like that, you know, and I mean they've seen huge success with it, so I don't see why, you know, people still buy the games. Like I still buy the games. I've bought most of the first party games that have released since, you know, since Game Pass has come out. Like I own Sea of Thieves. I don't know Halo because, you know, so far nothing has really, you know, that game still needs to prove itself to me, like with the co-op and stuff like that. But I may get it
You have
eventually.
Game
Like,
Pass?
you know. Huh?
Do you have Game Pass?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
he's
do.
There's no
waiting.
reason for you to ever have
he's
to
wait-
own Halo.
No, I know, but I sometimes, I mean, who knows? I don't know what, like, if this is gonna, how long this is gonna last, and you know, I also do like the feeling of owning my games, even though, you know, when it's digital, you still, I guess, kind of you're on the fence about it. Like, do you actually own it? You know, I've heard that conversation before, but
Yeah, but like I don't agree. I don't necessarily agree with Bob there when he said that if you have Game Pass, you don't have to own any games. Like actually, I don't agree with that because Game Pass I think is a great model because it serves me for a purpose of okay, I'm gonna try this game that I never heard of, that I never thought I would be interested in playing it. I'll give it a shot, and if I like it, I might like it so much that I want to give support to the developers, a bigger support to the
yeah,
developers. I might want to
I
buy
think
it.
Bob
Like
was I
I
think
think
Bob was
I have.
implying you don't have to buy any first party games, like right?
Yes,
Like you're
exactly.
not. It's not
okay.
It's not completely necessary. You don't have. He's saying there's a difference between what Xbox is doing and that's what everybody's talking about, right? The big
Mhm.
issue is no first party day and date, and I'm telling you, Sony just simply cannot do that. They do not have.
Because of the $70
Yeah,
policy.
they have to. It's not even a matter of wanting to. I think that they have to. They have to get that money, and then they have to have people double dip, and then they have to have people triple dip when it hits PC. You know what I mean? Like,
this is what you're talking about, Power. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
yeah,
I really need to bring this up because this is a big focus of this episode. I think that Sony has literally put Xbox in the position to break the industry. Because if you look at the top tier of the PlayStation subscription, it is still $4 more than than Xbox Game Pass. You know, there's only one tier of Xbox Game Pass. So you got $14.99 a month versus $18.99 a month. Well, let's just go out on
Bob,
a limb
that's
here
wrong,
and
mate.
say let's estimate that Xbox has 23 million subscribers. Last time we heard it was 20. So let's just estimate and say it's 23 million. What if, and this is the industry breaking part of this, what if Xbox came out and said, you know what? Your connectivity charge, your Xbox Live charge, it's gone. It's gone. That $9.99 a month you were paying, or the $60 a month you were paying, that's gone. Your
well, yeah,
connectivity, just like on the internet, it's gone. Because we're still making $15 a month on Xbox Game Pass, and we've got
right.
23 million subscribers. That would literally break. That would be the first console that basically said, you know what, your connectivity, other than your ISPs or your ISP's charge on PC, your connectivity on your console, it's free. As long as you connect, we got you. They are, with looking at Microsoft's wallet and how many subscribers they have on Game Pass, they are in a great position right now because of the $19 charge for the top tier of PlayStation Plus that doesn't even have game and day and date like Game Pass does. They're in a great position to go ahead and just break that over the industry's head and say, you know what? Connectivity is free. If you buy the game, guess what? You do not have to pay to play it online. because you bought the game. So I'm really interested to hear every panel member's outlook on what I just said, because they are in a great position right now, more than ever, because now now that Game Pass is going to have a competitor. They are in the perfect position to do away with the Xbox Live charge.
Just to jump in real quick, because guys, this makes me laugh, because this is the perfect reason why we can't take a lot of these Sony fanboys or trolls, or what do you want to call them, for fucking for anything more than a douchebag attention-seeking twats. Because I made a post earlier, I was just sharing it with my Alberta brethren up here in Canada. The Series X is going to be available at the local Shoppers Drug Mart drugstores here on the weekend, so April 2nd and 3rd, right? So in Canada, it's $379.99. Now in the States, what is it? $299, correct? Right?
Yes. For a Series
So,
S, yeah.
Yeah, so this twat who obviously doesn't know how to read, he jumps on my timeline and he goes, increase the price by $80 and offer a $50 gift card? Like, see, this is what I'm saying, because they're offering a $50 gift card with the console, which is kind of cool, because that's $50 you can put toward a game, so it's kind of a bonus, right? So he's jumping on my timeline. Obviously, he doesn't probably know where the fuck Alberta is, which is not really surprising, and doesn't know how to read. So here he is, trying to start a fanboy argument, right? I'm just like, buddy, that's Canadian price. It didn't increase at all. Nice try. And that was my reply. But this is the kind of shit that constantly happens, like, all the time. Just had to put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that
All right.
I think they have plenty of momentum going into this area that we're going in with Game Pass and subscriptions and stuff. I mean, me personally, I don't really have any interest in the PlayStation Premium. It just depends on what the extra tier or whatever the middle tier is, to see what PS4 and PS5 games that they offer on a regular basis, because if they offer something good on it, I mean, I'll think about it, because I'm already paid up on PS Plus, and from what I understand, if you have PS Now, it just rolls into the extra tier. So if you were to, and it's actually, I think, half the price. So if you were to go out and buy the PS Now 12-month cards, you would actually end up getting 12 months of the extra tier for about half the price. So I'll check it out. I got to see what they offer. I guess if you're a new PlayStation gamer and you haven't played Returnal or Miles or any of that stuff, but it's like Bob said. I mean, a lot of these games, if you're a PlayStation diehard, you're probably you've probably already either played these games or you own them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Well, I'm not a diehard, but I have already purchased these games and I've downloaded these games. So because where I am in the community, I have to be able to give an honest take on things and I don't want to do that without playing them. So yeah, I've bought Returnal, I've bought Forbidden West, and so I mean, the service doesn't really do anything for me, because maybe if they change it going forward, then yes. But as it stands right now, I'm still just going to buy the first party bangers, because that's the only way to access them.
Yeah. And like I said in that quote, I mean, they are doubling down on this service. They are doubling down on, continuing to pay. I mean, that's basically Jim Ryan's, nice business speak way of saying, hey, listen, like you're gonna be buying God of War Ragnarok, you're gonna be buying Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine. You know what I'm saying? And and people are gonna buy these games. Like I'm not even gonna try to act like that's not gonna happen. Like they're gonna buy. People are gonna go out and buy Spider-Man 2. They will buy Wolverine. So when I say it like that, I don't think that like Sony or PlayStation as a whole is like that. I always knew deep down that they couldn't compete with Game Pass, because that would just kind of, it wouldn't work. It doesn't work for their system. But that's all I got. Did we lose somebody?
All right.
See you,
So-
thieves, matey. Arr.
Arr.
Raise the flag and get out the bilge pump. Arr.
Did anybody else catch last week the Starfield reveal and the screenshots / motion capture that they showed?
No, I did not. What the hell?
It was really good. I'm really pumped. We, from the way they talked about Starfield, I believe that we are honestly going to see whether or not the shortfalls with Fallout 76 were because of ZeniMax. Because now that Bethesda has had the freedom and the time to operate as themselves without a hard-nosed corporate backing, asking them to put out a game before we're sold, please hurry up, we're going to see whether or not Bethesda is the Bethesda that we all know and love. Because other than Fallout 76, it looks like Starfield is looking at the same aspirations as far as being an entity in the world and the world reacting to you the way it would as if it was another player, which is what we saw in Fallout 76, other than it was other players. And I'm really excited to see, because Starfield, we all know they've been working on since, they say, 2010 is when they first had the vision of Starfield. And now it's 2022, and this year we're going to see the fruition of that vision. And I love Bethesda. There is not many other developers in my lifetime that I can really put as much interaction into. I mean, really, other than, you look at Oblivion, you look at Skyrim, it's all the Fallouts, Fallout 3, it totally changed my view on open world post-apocalyptic play. And Fallout 4, and of course New Vegas, yes, was done by Obsidian, but we're also hearing that right now in the Xbox Game Studios, the big word, the big topic to be talked about around the water cooler is New Vegas 2. I mean, we are at a perfect point in these two developers' life cycles to see a New Vegas 2, because they're under the same roof. But going back to Starfield, I'm really excited to see what we're going to see, because you can take on different aspects. You can be a cop. You can go and join different factions. You can, wow! It almost seems like, to me, it's like a No Man's Sky on a different level, and the amount of love and detail that I know that Bethesda is capable of putting into their game, it's really got me psyched up. I really expect this to be great, and I expect this to be the first game from Xbox Game Studios that goes off without a hitch. I don't expect any issues, which is saying a lot. I know I could be guilty of having faith, but I think that because we're not getting because if you notice the games that we really get a lot of media coverage on, or a lot of YouTube coverage on, at release, they all seem to fall on their face. And even Fallout 76, we didn't hear about it until the E3 before the very fall that it was going to come out. With Starfield being kind of what we would expect from Xbox Game Studios, where what we show you is what we're going to show you before it's ready. We didn't even see that with Halo. They showed us Halo gameplay before it was really ready. The detail and the pop-in was atrocious. That's why we saw a year delay. But with Starfield, we're seeing what we would expect by a studio that has the backing that it has. We're going to show you what we're going to show you when it's ready. And I expect Starfield, this release is going to be seamless.
Here, like here's the thing, in my opinion, Bethesda needs to do that. It needs to be perfect. Not necessarily, I'm not necessarily saying that the game needs to have absolute zero bugs, because after all we are talking about Bethesda. But I want to see a game with bugs like just on the level of Skyrim, where okay, this is a funny bug, but it doesn't break my game. It doesn't take away the fun that I have, because every single quest, every single thing that I'm doing here, or almost everything, has some depth to it. Like, oh my god, I can become a werewolf, I can become a fucking mage, I can be the leader of the guild of assassins. This is so awesome. And like I really hope Starfield becomes what Fallout 76, like I really hope that Starfields become a mix of No Man's Sky with Cyberpunk 2077, but that it feels like a Bethesda game. Like you see that okay, this is a giant world. I can explore every single thing in this huge universe. Like No Man's Sky. I can be anyone I want, like Cyberpunk. And this is really, really, really fun to play, like a Bethesda game should be.
How
Like,
dare you, Noof Nukem, an 84 on Metacritic? That's a 91, bitch.
I'm going out early on this one. I'm telling you, it's gonna get
I-
crucified. One, because it's on
it
Xbox, and
is.
two,
Yeah, no,
it's
I'm
gonna
not
have
trying
it's gonna have glitches, and they're gonna be magnified, and there's gonna find a lot of shit wrong with it. Don't worry.
But here's the thing. I'm not
I
trying to
agree.
say that the game is going to be perfect. I'm not trying to say that the game is going to be amazing. I just want to see this game to be released and Bethesda once again be treated as holy shit, the magic is back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the same way as I wish for Rare in their next title. I am looking at you, Everwild. You really need to be better than Sea of Thieves did
Sea of
when you
Thieves is
released.
Well,
bloody awesome.
No, but when you released,
No, it was shit when it
Yes,
released, but so was
exactly.
The
Thank you,
Witcher,
Lupa.
which you youngsters don't understand. They all kicked off on Cyberpunk, but that was management's fault that it got released when it did. They needed another 6 months a year, and it would have been okay. But
but here's
like Witcher 3 was released in a terrible state, and then it's become most people's game of the generation.
but like here's the thing. In my opinion, I'm just trying to. I do think Sea of Thieves is awesome right now. I do love Sea of Thieves. I play with Slayer and Ash all the time. That shit. But like I just want to see Rare to release a game and people say, "Holy shit, Rare is back! Rare is truly back," as it was in the Nintendo 64 era. And I hope that Starfield is a game of which people can play day one and they can say,
Rare's
"Holy
doing all
crap,
right.
Bethesda is here!" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
all I
I'm
okay.
wish.
holding
The
my
UK
reservation.
versus Brazil. Square off. Fight.
He like Rare is doing perfectly okay. Thank you very much. They got an awesome game out there. Is basically a gas game because it's now got seasons and it's leveling up all the time. So they're doing new
Yeah,
things in it all the time, and I think they're doing perfectly okay.
we are back into the silver era of Rare. I do admit
Mhm.
that, but like I hope
Platinum.
I dream of the return of the golden era. It's not there quite yet, but
No,
it's
we don't
going.
need another
But we
Banjo
are doing.
Kazooie. No.
Fuck you. Fuck
Same as we
I
you.
don't
love
need
it.
another bloody little blue nasty hedgehog.
Oh my god. If
Fuck
there has
off.
never been anything that has been debated as much as Banjo Kazooie coming back.
No,
I mean, oh
Banjo
my
Well, we do
goodness.
Kazooie's
need more
dead.
platformers. Bottom line, no matter if it's Banjo Kazooie or Fanny and Tooie, who knows? But
Yeah, who knows?
we need some more
Just
But
kidding,
like,
platformers.
Lopa.
as
I
far
was
as
just
Starfield
kidding.
goes, I'm holding reservation until I actually get my hands on it or I see some reviews because I'm not really that hyped for it. to be honest.
Oh my god! By the way, sorry, Lupa, but I couldn't resist
Well,
to
the one
react the
thing,
way
the
I
one,
did.
the one thing
You
that
don't need to
Starfield
say
has going
sorry.
for,
I
right?
can hold my own corner. Don't you worry about that, Fabio.
You see, Fabio, why I invited her to the show? I
yeah.
needed somebody to battle you.
She takes
Was
she
that-
takes no crap.
Was that it? Was that just because you couldn't fight me alone? Really?
Oh.
Okay, fair enough.
But the thing that Starfield is going for, guys, is the fact that Starfield's a new IP. We don't really have anything to base it or judge it up against, other
No,
than the
that's-
fact that it comes from
yeah.
Bethesda, and
And it's
we assume that
Todd's
it's going to
dream.
be we assume it's going to be a space version of Skyrim. Now, if that's
Yeah.
true, if that's the worst case scenario, a space version of Skyrim, I'd say we're in for a damn good treat, because Skyrim is a pretty expansive and pretty amazing game in its own right. Did it have
Not
issues?
as good as
Sure,
The Witcher, though.
right? Debatable, but
I know.
but you know what I mean, right? But so
Yeah.
Starfield is a new IP. Now, if Starfield was like, say, an extension of an IP, which happened with Fallout 76, they tried to do sort of an MMO style approach with Fallout, and we know how that all turned out, right? So, it had promise, but that's the thing. If you come out anything short of a full promise at the start, you can lose an audience before you gain one. People will jump off, they're on to the next big thing. We saw it, and we saw like Fallout had a resurgence, Fallout 76 down the road when they added content and fixed some bugs. It started to build a bit of a user base, right? We saw that with a lot of different games over the generation. We're seeing people come back to Cyberpunk now that the game is relatively running pretty well and is much better than it did at launch. And you guys mentioned No Man's Sky. I think for me personally, I played No Man's Sky at launch. I played it much, much later down the road, and it was definitely much improved. But the problem, I think, with No Man's Sky is it overcomplicated itself. The game tried to be too many things. It's trying to do too much. I found it a very much like a resource, like eccentric kind of game. Like, I just wanted a space action game. I don't need to be stuck on every planet harvesting all these friggin' plants and trying to find parts so I can get my ship to get to the next planet. You know what I mean? It was like every game doesn't have to be a collectathon slugfest. Like, just give us a good story and cut out some of the RPG a little bit and make it fun to play. I mean, people want a space game. I assume that most people would like to have a space game that feels kind of like Star Trek, where you can kind of just go off to a planet, explore, talk to some people, get sent on a mission, and then fly around the galaxy, not kind of be forced into doing crap or, that sort of stuff, right? That would be fun.
Yeah. I'm just looking like Neve. I want a story. I'm looking for a game with a good story again. My go-to game this year, the one that I'm really looking forward to, is A Plague's Tale Requiem.
Yes.
Like I love Plague's Tale, and I think Plague's Tale Requiem should be good. It's a good story there, and I do like a good story. I'm getting bored. It's basically all these games are the same games with a slightly different spin in a way, but like the same thing underneath, and it's starting to get boring. We don't need another Mass Effect.
No, you tell you what, I'm excited for Hellblade 2, and I swear to God, Ninja Theory.
Let me
Ninja Theory, if
Yeah.
these guys fuck up the formula for the first game, I'm going to be furious because
let me-
I love Hellblade for everything that
too.
other fans hated it for.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
it doesn't have really expensive combat. Oh, you can't upgrade your sword.
Yeah.
Fuck off! I don't
I
want
don't
every
want it.
goddamn
Let me-
game to be Breath of the
let
Wild,
me
breaking
let me
swords
ask
and
you.
spamming and
Let me
shit.
ask you
Yeah.
this. Let me
I
ask you
love the
this.
simplicity of the game. It felt like an old school fucking adventure game.
I loved Hellblade, and I just want it to be as similar as it was, but like
Yes.
slightly different story.
Yeah, a
maybe.
little bit. Obviously, they're going to advance the combat mechanics. Maybe she'll probably end up with a bow because I'm pretty sure everybody and their damn kid has a bow in the game now. So,
Yeah.
something like that. But I don't want them to come and go out and all of a sudden now, like, well, now she's got like, oh, you got to get to a certain level so she can get like, oh, I don't know, like she can read fucking minds or something.
Yeah. No, we don't want
expanding
that.
her powers. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to just. I want to make a bigger, better game, but I don't necessarily. They don't need to change what made the game special.
No.
Like there was a lack of HUD.
I mean,
there was a lack of crap.
UE5
You know?
engine is awesome, and it's going to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to this generation as it is now, not being a crossover game, but being fully next gen is going to be great.
Oh yeah, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Senua!
That
Come
was a
on,
cross
guys, bring
between
it.
Arnold
Where the
and
hell is
Cletus.
everybody? Come on, step in here. Taco.
Yeah,
my
we can't have
goodness.
dead air. No dead air.
Can
It's
you
not-
please
like-
not give us so much Arnold at one time? It's so hard to take care of. Oh, goodness.
Go
I
back and
just-
just sit in your hole and come over and kick your ass.
Yeah, you do that, Arnold, because like I can't stand dead air. It gives me the creeps.
No dead air, people.
Creepies.
creeps. So
So-
next, Bob.
Okay, then that was something.
Sorry,
So-
guys. I took this down the rabbit hole here.
Mm,
Okay,
it's good.
okay. Then.
That's all right. We're here for rabbit holes, brother.
Are we?
Yes.
Is
Rawr.
that what we started?
Where's that cat game for PlayStation? I want to play that one. What the fuck is
Yeah,
it called?
what's the cat?
The one
What
with
the cat?
Wanna
What?
be a
Huh?
cat?
Remember that
Get a-
one that they announced last year at the
Yeah.
E3, around E3, the one where there's fucking you play as a cat?
You play as a
hell
cat.
is it
It
called?
did
Cat
look
simulator?
unique, I have to say.
Is it a cat simulator?
Oh,
No,
my
I
goodness.
gotta research
No, it
again
was
because
a
it looked
cat
really
game.
good.
It was. I thought it was going to be fun. Then I found out it was on
Stray,
PlayStation.
you remember that one?
Yeah.
Stray. They showed the trailer.
Yeah, Stray.
Stray. Nobody
Yeah,
remembers
that-
that little
that one-
orangey
that
cat
one looked
going
pretty good.
around. I fucking want to
No,
play that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one
on
like in like
PlayStation.
the Tokyo City it looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a
He
neon
runs
city.
this cat, and he got like a little backpack on and shit. I was like, I fucking want to play that, man. Where is that?
Yeah. I think it's around somewhere.
Hmm.
Newfie.
Wasn't there one that they showed too that was like, I don't know, it was like really weird, and it was like
spaceman.
kind of in space. It was like a
Yeah.
space dude, and then they came down to Earth, and there was some crazy shit happening.
And he was with a little girl.
Okay,
So,
well,
I didn't really. This wasn't really in the description of our podcast, or have I mentioned it until this point? Because right now it's not done producing, but Bob is trying an experiment right now in super sampling for gameplay video being sent in the stream.
Mhm.
It's not done producing yet. It says it'll be done producing in 17 minutes, but basically what I did was I captured a lot of gameplay with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I captured it in full 4K 60, and then I used another program to render that into a 480 production. And I'm wondering whether or not, even at that lower resolution, you will still be able to see the detail that was captured with 480 60. So, I'm going to show that in the next 15 minutes. As soon as it's done producing, I will show it to the viewers. And who knows? I know that all of us that do podcasts and stream, we struggle periodically with upload, and being able to stream gameplay that is 4K 60 but super sampled to a bit rate that is only 6 megs a second could possibly be groundbreaking. And if everybody likes what they see when this is done producing, I will, message me and I'll tell you exactly how I did it. I'm excited. I really am. Considering that it's taking twice as long to render a video than I usually render, because I'm going from a 4K 60 down to a 480p 30. It's got me excited because it's actually taking long. It's encouraging me that the software is actually having to do work to accomplish this. And a lower resolution, if it can still keep the details and the sharpness of the image, that would really be beneficial to other streamers. So in about 16 minutes, I will be changing the video that you see here in the podcast to one that has been super sampled down from 4K 60 to 480 at 30. And we will all see at the same time whether or not a software's super sampling is as good as FSR 2.0 is super sampling, which we'll now get into. So, panel, at last week's show of AMD, they said that super sampling 2.0 will be implemented natively into the Xbox GDK. Do we think that this is going to be something that is taken on automatically as far as FPS boost, or do we think it's going to be something that's going to have to looked at by developers and taken advantage of at that point at the game's release or at the time of patch?
Well, I think that it's going to be a little bit of both, right? Like they're obviously, what that does, that just opens up the option, and and then they say, okay, well here are the tools that you need to implement this, FSR 2.0 into your game and or develop it, and currently develop it or future develop it with this implemented in, right? We've seen a lot of games, even on PC, like Back for Blood and Call of Duty Vanguard, just to name a couple that have FSR 1.0. So to see 2.0 coming out, if it's as good as or better than 1.0, I'm pretty excited. I think this will do a lot of really good work, especially with something like think about something like the Series S, right? When people were always concerned about what that's going to do for next generation gaming, stuff like that, FSR and temporal upscaling and all these tools that they have available to mess with the resolution and to free up GPU processes is really going to help push next generation along. Also, too, we have not seen exactly what Unreal Engine 5 is going to be doing when it comes to real life games. We saw the Matrix demo and it looks awesome, but that could just be the tip of the iceberg. You know what I mean? Unreal Engine 5 is going to be a game changer. And I think seeing games like Hellblade 2, the next Gears game, and whatever else, I'm sure it's going to be widely used because, Unreal Engine tends to be a pretty stable, reliable engine. And I think that FSR is just one more drop in the bucket for stuff that they can use, hopefully to, kind of innovate and make something new, make something big that we're going to be able to see in the next couple of years,
Yeah, I agree. I, for one, when I played that Matrix demo, I was astounded at the ability for when you were at a distance, it was almost like real life. When you were at a distance from a certain person walking down the street, they were really to the point as far as what they were wearing and like major facial differences. They were distinguishable. But as you got closer to that person, as you would have in real life, that person started to become more and more defined and would be clearly recognizable as somebody you would know in the real life. That demo was amazing. I mean, it really blew my mind and it opened up the edges of my mind to accept what is possible in the future. Unreal Engine 5 is going to be amazing, and I cannot wait to see the first games that release that actually use what is possible in Unreal Engine 5. Anybody else got a take on this? Has anybody else played the Matrix demo?
Yes, I played it.
What did you think, Lupa? From the really from the distance to perspective resolution difference, what did you think?
I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. I think it's great the way the cars were, and I love the fact that where there was tarpaulin over a building and that you could actually jump on there and it was a thing. It was really cool. You could see all of it. It was so cool. It was clear, and I think the UE5 engine is going to be awesome, and it's not what people are just, oh, it's just another engine, but it took them a long time to get used to Unreal 4, but Unreal 5 is the devs have already said it's so much easier to work with.
Yeah.
It's so quick and easy that I think it's going to be used a lot, and I think it's a good thing.
And for
I
what,
think-
what we've seen from Xbox Live Game Studios and the FSR 2.0 games that are running in Unreal, it's going to be pretty effortless. We're talking
Yeah.
3 days total from them to make the change to adopt FSR 2.0, which is quite amazing. It really gives me a lot of hope for performance gains in the future.
Yeah, I think that it's going to blow people's minds, to be honest. Like, I think Hellblade, people, it looks awful. Yeah, but you're watching it through YouTube on a stream.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait till you
On
get
your
it on your
phone.
OLED in front. Yeah, on your phone. Wait till you've got it in an OLED on an OLED in front of you.
Yeah, that's
gonna
like saying
be
that a stripper looks
absolutely
ugly when you can
mind-blowing.
only see her from 3 rooms away and the lighting is dim. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
like, I mean,
I
but
mean,
like,
they talk out their
was
arse.
it? Did it look bad? Really? Do people think it looked bad?
Who thought what
What?
looked bad?
No.
Hellblade.
No.
Like,
No way.
God damn
No.
it.
You thought
Yeah,
that
that's
looked
just
bad? You
nonsense.
better go get your damn eyes checked, man.
You-
Something's in the description.
And don't forget
Whoa.
they're streaming it, and
That's
then
what I
they're
wanted
streaming
to
it
say,
through
like-
Xbox. So it's like, of course, it's not as good as it's going to be, and you're looking at it on an OLED in front of you. It's like, it's going to be mind blowing. Most people are going to be, oh my god, I don't believe this. It's going to be blow their minds. It really is, and they don't
All right.
understand that what they're watching is not true.
I'm
It's
showing
not a true capture.
I'm showing 12 minutes remaining on the super sampling test for streaming to a podcast. Cannot wait.
You know,
I'm expecting good things going from a 4K down to a 480. Yeah.
Okay.
you know,
I
if there's
know.
one thing that the industry needs right now is it needs more cohesion when it comes to engines, right? Because I know different people can get different things out of different engines. Like we always know that Epic and various and people that were closely associated with Epic were able to get amazing performance out of the Unreal Engine. Let's take the Coalition, for example, right? With the Gears of War franchise. They've always been able to do more with that engine than various other companies have been able to do. Don't forget a lot of the early Arkham games by Rocksteady were built on the Unreal Engine. You know what I mean? So you see different results for different people, but they need more cohesion in the industry, because right now, the way I look at it, it seems like every damn publisher and every studio within a publisher seems like a lot of times they're all playing with different engines. And I think that's part of the process. And this is why it's taking so damn long for game development, because anybody knows if every time you finally learn the tools and you got to get new tools before you've learned the old ones, it just slows down the process. It makes it very complicated and difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Well, didn't
you
Staten even admit that they were having issues with slip space whenever they were trying to get Halo out there, right? Like he came out and said, "Hey, they ran into some bumps along the way," and I think
what
that's why
happened
we
to Mass
saw
Effect Andromeda?
same thing with googly eyes. You know what I mean?
And- And you look at Cyberpunk using their old Red engine is what happened. And now with the new Witcher, it's going to be the Unreal 5 engine. That's going to be awesome.
I think we're going to see a lot of these developers doing exactly what Noof said and try, because he's absolutely right. There needs to be like some like
That's industry
solidarity
standard,
somewhere.
right?
You know what I mean? Like, so we can start getting these games that aren't coming out day one, buggy, patchy messes, like it's almost like
yeah.
they
they're
got
trying
to
to figure it out
swallow their
together.
pride, and they just got to learn to license up and use somebody's engine. Because if you know it works and you know it's a lot simpler for you and your teams, then go ahead and do it. Because at the end of the day, there's not a damn gamer on this planet that gives a shit whether it's built on Unreal or it's built on fucking Havoc or whatever the hell. All we want to do at the end of the day is it's a good looking game that runs at its maximum potential. Now, I mean, sometimes engines start to show their wear. We saw that with Call of Duty, but that's the thing. That's why Call of Duties were easy to turn around. That's why Call of Duties have always been a hit, because they didn't stray from the formula too much. They just kept modifying and improving the engines as they went along. Same with the Gears, the mild upgrades, but they were significant. But what we're seeing now with graphics overall, we're starting to see graphics plateau. Like at this point now, graphics are, how much better are they really going to get? Because a lot of us now, there's a lot of games that are nearly like lifelike. Like how much better can Forza actually get, for example?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
So the things you got to concentrate on at this point, and a lot of people, this is the part that people don't see, is you got to start working on things like your AI and like the little things on how, say, a cloth object interacts with the environment. I mean, for years, one of the biggest problems that developers had with any game was hair and facial animations. Hair was something that's always difficult to get right. Even to today, it's still a difficult thing. And then you get sort of ultra realistic hair, but then it's sort of weird in another way, like Aloy's hair from Horizon Forbidden Best. I want to know what shampoo this girl's using in the future, because my God, her hair bounces all over the place. You know, you know, and then you got other people with static hair, and you hear a lot of our black community always complaining that developers can't get friggin' black people's hair right to save their soul. You know, it either looks like they got a Brillo pad on their head or some damn thing, like it's just not right. You know what I mean? So they got a long ways to go. But you know, facial animation, that's another thing. That's one thing where you notice Horizon Forbidden West did much better than its predecessor. Was the animations on the faces are definitely a lot more realized. There's more movement in characters. They're not sort of just standing in one place talking. Now they're moving around. They're doing stuff within the environment. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to see modern engines take it to. It's going to be more than just graphics, but it currently comes down to lighting. It's how light reflects off a texture and make it look very, very nice, very, you know, realistic, so to speak, you know. But how much better can these games really get? Because that Matrix demo you're talking about, my God, that thing looked incredible. That was almost like movie quality.
It was. And I mean, when we're playing Assassin's Creed and you're looking at it, looks like you're watching a movie, and it's just amazing.
Another one
at the same time, though, that Matrix at the same time that Matrix demo was what to be expected. I did expect a video game, and what I got was a video game at the highest quality as far as interpreting real life that I could expect at this time in technology, and it was mind blowing.
And you have to remember they made that in a weekend.
Yeah, the best thing about that was when you played that, the first thing I said, now this is, well, next gen, current gen. Like, this is what we're paying $600 on these consoles for. This is the kind of target that a lot of devs now should be aiming for. And if your games look anything like, I mean, at least if you're going for a realism aesthetic, that's your target, right? You're going to be aiming for that. I mean, if you're going for a stylized game, I totally get it, right? Every game has its own artwork. That's art direction, right? But, you know, that was something I had a problem with last year, because It Takes Two didn't get enough love for its graphics, and they were amazing just because they had a stylization to them. But Lupa, you can say that. I mean, It Takes Two's graphics were absolutely insane.
It was great, absolutely great. I'd play it again through now.
The detail on those characters, like the little things, really like the straw and the buttons and everything. It was like it literally looked
clay.
Like, you know?
She was like wood, and you could see that she was wood and he was clay.
Exactly.
It was really good. I love it.
For those who may be wondering, I have 8 minutes left on producing the 4K 60 down to 480 30. I don't know. We'll see. I will let everybody know, and I will change the video you see, which is 1080p 30, to a 4K 30 super sample.
That's another thing. Going back to playing 30 FPS games, I'm with Dealer on that. It's about time they utilize what's in the box. And all games like Guardians of the Galaxy would have been, it's an awesome game. I loved it. I played it through on release and I loved the game, but it would have been so much better on 60 than it was.
Well, that's what I don't get. Why are games still struggling? Why are we still getting? Why are we still getting option modes for graphics and performance? They should have one mode only at this point, because we got two consoles that are nearly twice as powerful as the Xbox One X, and the Xbox One X was running half of their damn games at 34K. So what the fuck is wrong with the new consoles?
I don't know. No, it's just they're not utilizing what's in there, like the mesh shading and the reflections and all that stuff. They're just not VRR and all that. They're not utilizing it, and the devs need to be utilizing it more, and they're just not. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. Oh, sorry. Well, if I had to get, because I've thought about this myself. I really have. Like, I've been watching the generation, right, and we've all been playing these games, and we're like, it just seems odd. Like for instance, and maybe we could talk about this because I know they had just released it, but they drew back the ray tracing update on Minecraft because there was an issue with it on the consoles or what have you, and it I feel like that maybe the cross generation games, but maybe they're just trying to like tack on the ray tracing, and maybe these games have to be developed from the ground up with the new consoles in mind. And I'm hoping that maybe Unreal Engine 5 and maybe whatever it is that they're doing for the future processes, because let's face it, like we haven't even tapped the potential of these boxes yet, right? Like we haven't even touched it. We haven't even really seen a really true next generation game. You know what I mean? Like we haven't at least we haven't got our hands on one in my opinion. Something that I think like when you went from like whenever you went from like, Xbox, the original Xbox to like the 360, I felt like that was a large jump in power, and like I was genuinely shocked playing 360 coming from the original Xbox, and that's what I'm looking to see in stuff like Hellblade and stuff that's coming out on that UE5. I think that somewhere along the way, these games they still have to find a way to make them run on a 1.3 teraflop Xbox.
That's
it's
the problem.
you know what I'm saying? So I think that eventually I'm hoping by like 2023, we're at that point where it's just they're all in on next generation. You know what I mean? And they just go crazy because they're talking about PS5 Pro right now, and they're talking about a new series. Like we do not need that at all. You know what I mean? Like we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Yeah.
I mean, going to what you said in the chat there, Noof. Yes, it does look very pretty when I play it in resolution mode or quality mode. But I guess as far as the shooters go, when I play it in 60 frames per second, anything else, I'm not a filmic type of person, I guess. 30 frames a second to me in a shooter feels like a frame show.
Makes me sick going back.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah,
it's 60 or bust for me. I
Yeah.
don't even like playing
I
anything that hasn't
always-
been enhanced now. You know
No,
what I mean?
I always put it straight into FPS because I can't. I forgo a little bit of resolution to be able to play in 60. It's so smooth, so easy.
I don't mind 30 as long as the 30 is consistent. I couldn't stand a game that goes 30 to 15 to 25 to 30.
Now,
30 because I'm so used to 30 frames, it doesn't bother me. Now I do notice a difference when I get to 60, but again, unless I'm playing something like Halo or Doom or Call of Duty, I really don't care that much. Like shooters are more paramount. The rest of the games, like I said, because of the nature of them, I don't mind. So I really like those lush visuals and the high resolution where stuff looks very sharp, very detailed, very textures really pop. That sort of stuff rings for me. Like especially if you got a half decent TV, it makes a big difference. That sort of stuff. So
well, now, of course, at 30 frames a second, frame pacing plays a big part, and if the frame pacing is done great, then 30 frames by all means is doable. But what we're seeing a lot now with games coming out, the frame pacing at 30 frames per second is it's horrible, and it makes you want to switch from quality to performance.
I mean, like, but would you say that, I do agree that 60 FPS is much better than 30 FPS, but wouldn't you say that sometimes it depends on the game that you're playing? Like, if you're
No.
playing
Yeah.
a slow-paced game, you don't
No.
mind.
like, do you need to play Mario Odyssey?
Didn't
in
even
60
notice
frames,
it on
for
an
example?
OLED. Yeah, I mean, I would love for the Switch to upgrade their hardware,
Oh,
and I do
God.
believe that
Let me know.
that's coming, and they will bundle it with Breath of the Wild 2 because that's what sold them all their Switches back on Breath of the Wild 1. So that's why it's been delayed, Breath of the Wild 2, so that they can get the silicon to make the new OLED. Better screens, better chip in them, everything. So I do think that's what's coming.
The original Breath of the Wild was cross generation. Remember that too?
Yeah,
So,
it was on the Wii U and the Switch.
Mhm.
So they
Yeah.
had one copy for the Wii U and one for the Switch, and I played both. And there's not an awful lot of difference, to be honest.
Yeah.
non
It's harder
Yeah,
to
yeah.
notice difference with a game like that because it didn't
Yeah.
strive for ultra realism to begin with. It was just, those cell shaded pastel colors and graphics. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, different games are going to stand out. Like, could you imagine trying to play the Matrix demo at fucking like 30 frames a second on and it like was at really low resolution?
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait for the Switch to catch up technology wise. That would be awesome.
Mhm.
And to be fair, I'm such a massive Zelda fan that
Mhm.
if they did release Breath of the Wild 2 with a brand new Switch, and that's the only way you could get it, I would do it. I would do it in a
We,
heartbeat.
we always hear to talk about scalability. You know what I got to say about that? Well, you know what? You can put a fat person on a scale too, and you know what happens? It breaks.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm here with you, Lupa. I'm such a Zelda fan that if they gave me a new Zelda and there's only one way to play it, I would give in to that way and I would
Yeah.
buy it.
I would be
Totally.
interested in a powerful Nintendo system.
Oh, that's
I
what I
was a
want more
huge
than
Nintendo
anything.
64 fan, man. I played the crap out of my Nintendo 64.
Do
And-
you not want Powerman? Like, do you not want to go back? I love the fact that they've done handheld for the kids going out with it and for people who want to play in the doctor's surgery, etc. I get that. But do you not want them to go back to a home console like the
Oh,
N64?
oh yes.
I mean, that would just be so good because then you're covering both markets. We
Yeah.
don't need an upgraded Switch. What we need is a proper SNES or NES. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Because I love
Good
those
point.
consoles and I really, really want a proper home console. My
With-
Switch never comes out the freaking dock because I'm an
Yeah.
old fart who don't go nowhere.
Yeah, I don't live that lifestyle to like be
Jesus.
carrying my stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? And just I'm not playing it, while I'm driving to work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't live the lifestyle to do that kind of stuff. I'd be
No.
really interested in a Nintendo system that was powerful enough to run the AAA games at a reasonable play style, and to have stuff like achievements or whatever they would call them,
Yeah,
achievements or
whatever.
whatever.
Nintendo points.
Voice chat that didn't involve the phone.
Ninty
You know,
points. Ninty points.
and all
Yeah.
the stuff appeals to the kids, and I get it. That's probably where 70-80% of their market comes from, and why they're selling so much. But yeah, I mean, or maybe release a home console alongside a new version of the Switch. You know what I mean? Put that same chip in something that just plugs into the back of a TV and you leave it there. You know what I mean? And it has all the stuff that a modern console would have. You know what I mean? I just, now I'm spoiled with having achievements and trophies and having game chat and stuff like that. That's just a standard now. You know what I mean? So
Oh, it's so difficult to get into it. Well, when we play the Switch, I think I've only got one friend on there at the moment, and that's Mav. Nobody else cares, so I don't either. But like, I like if we do play a group, like when the family's playing and stuff, then we go on Xbox Live Party and play the Switch
yeah, you have to
because you can't join up properly
and they use the
party.
weird friend codes.
Oh,
and stuff
the
like
friend
that.
codes that are like longer than your national insurance number and stuff.
Who's stopping
It's
and doing
ridiculous.
all that?
They
You know
need
what I
to
mean?
change it all, and when they do, they'd get much more. They would get much more people coming into their like they live in a bubble, Nintendo, and they just don't want to change anything because for them, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But like people again need to talk with their wallets and stop buying, stop getting sucked in, and then they'll do something about it.
Yep. That is the result of what a powerful host of IPs can do for something, and allow people to make compromises, right? Like you guys were just saying, Breath of the Wild 2, you're probably going to buy it, and you'll probably buy it however they present it to you, because it's just one of those IPs that it has the gumption to do that. You know what I mean? That's why that first party IP content is so important.
I'd do the same thing if the next Halo was not on Game Pass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If I didn't get it in Game Pass, I would have bought it. Just like I bought Halo 2. I bought 2 copies of Halo 2 and stood in the line at the mall. You know what I mean? Like I bought a steelbook, and I bought it because I don't ever open the steelbook. You know what I mean?
Ah, okay. Fair enough.
So I bought the steelbook, and then I bought a regular copy that was like my daily driver. And that's how I used to buy a lot of like the big games that I cared about. You know what I mean? I did that with Gears of War, and I did that for. I actually really enjoyed the old God of Wars too. You know, I love those, so I got those. But yeah, I mean that's that. You know, if they didn't offer it to me, but I mean, if they're gonna give it to me in a subscription service, why not? You know what I'm saying? So you know, I mean, if I got $70-$80 that I would have been spent on that, I'll buy stuff like Tiny Tina or the Division or something like that. You know what I mean? That's where my money will go into third party kind of stuff. You know?
Well, I buy all my games digitally now because it's easier for me personally. That, in my opinion, it's a better option for me
Yeah.
because I don't have the space to store all the games. Number one, I've sold a lot of my games that I did have, and everything I had, like I had a ton of Zelda stuff, and you know, like just didn't move, downsized in house, and you know, just can't have anywhere to put it. So
Yep.
it's all sort of been given away or sold off. So for me, digital is absolutely important because I can't get out. I mean, my nearest game, it's called Game over here, not GameStop. And my nearest one is like a 30-mile round trip.
Wow.
So
That's a long trip.
yeah, and so therefore for me it's impossible to buy everything proper. So like I buy digital and everything now, and it's a godsend, to be honest.
That's
Yeah.
okay, but you know what? I found this out a couple days ago. Might as well just buy them digitally, because if you go to trade them in anymore, you might as well just ask them to give you the dildo and penetrate your bumhole while you're at it. Because I think I brought in about 15 games the other day. Games I just wasn't really playing, right? And as much as I hate trading in any of my games, I brought into my GameStop the other day. I kid you not, I had some pretty decent games in the pile too. Like I think two of the games alone that I had was one was Control, I think, and the other one was like Biomutant. And the most they were going to give me for either one of those games, I think, was like $12, right? But they're going to sell them on the shelf here in Canada for like they'll put them back for about $49, something like that, $39.40. They'll sell them for like 3 times or 4 times the price. And I literally, when she got done with all the games, I said, you know what? You know, because at one point she was like, yeah, this game's worth 75 cents. This game's are like $1. I was like, you know what, dear? I said, put them back in the bag. I said, I'm not, this isn't, I actually said, I said, this is insulting. I said, this is, you know, and the fact of the matter, this is a store that's trying to stay alive, trying to stay relevant, right? And what's their biggest model? Selling used games.
Yeah.
Right. And you think with the digital marketplace, they would be offering you a lot more for used games because they're getting less of them than ever before. But no, they're actually giving you less money than ever before. And it's just like, this is insulting. This is a slap in the face. Yeah. And so I didn't trade them at all. I brought them home, and that's the last time I'm going to do that.
I had exactly the same experience with my son. He had probably about 10 or 12 games he wanted to trade in to buy one new game. Don't ask me what it was. I can't remember. It was some time ago. We went in, and it ended up, when she'd done all the adding up, he was going to get £20. So probably about $25. And I was like, you are kidding me. Do you know what, son? Put the games back in your bag. Take them home. Put them back on your shelf. Keep them. They might be worth a lot of money in years to come, sorry. And I'll buy the damn game. And I bought him the game. It was just so rude. And it was, you are kidding me. He's had one of them for like 3 days. And you want to give him $5 for it?
Yeah, and when they got those trade in 3 get 1 free bullshit, you're literally trading in 3 like $70 games, $60-$70 games, right? That got to be basically no more than pretty much a month old to qualify for that deal anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving you $180 Canadian worth of games just to get a brand new $80 one. You're going to sell those games for $5 less than what they sell for new. And I never, if I walked in and I saw Horizon Forbidden West brand new, $79.99, or well, up here in Canada it's the game is $89.99, they're $90, or $5 less for the used copy. Guess which copy I'm getting every time? Brand new one, sealed. Because I'm not giving GameStop my money. I want to give it to the publisher, the developer, by buying the new copy. I mean, it's different if I saw a new copy that was $80, and I have seen this on occasion. I think this is probably mistakes when they price them, but you'll get like this new game and you look at it, it's like, oh, that game's like $70, and there's a used copy in the shelf for like about $45. You're kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure. It's just no, it's just not on. I like obviously I've got rid of all mine. Most of them I've given to my children and they've given to their children to play and so on and so forth. And the ones that I've sold like 6 at a go on eBay, you
Mhm.
know, for a reasonable and I've got the money for them, no problem.
Yeah.
So I'd rather do it that way than I would to give bloody game my money, that's
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
big time. I mean, you guys remember the last time that they dropped all those what was it? They had Back and Pat, right? And then there was that 50 cent game. And then that freaking 50 cent game was going on eBay for like a couple $100 because people didn't have like hard copies of it. I can't remember the name of the game, but I remember seeing copies of that thing on eBay for like ridiculous amounts of money.
Mhm.
So at that point, man, like GameStop is just a ripoff, dude. Like they're, you know, the crap that they give you, the crap money they give you is literally just a freaking ploy to get you to go back and go buy some other stuff. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and like you said, I just, you know, I've gotten older, so I don't really want to go through the process of like trying to clean up a big collection. I had it when I was younger, but it just turns into a whole lot of work and a lot of dusting and a lot of, you
Yeah,
know,
for
so
sure.
you
I mean,
know.
I had a whole room with a whole wall with about 6 bookshelves full on, and then 2 other units that had like I don't know hundreds of Wii games, Wii U games, NES games, NES games. I had everything, and it's like eventually you have to say, well, do I want to spend 3 hours a day dusting this load of stuff, or do I just I just get rid? But like I had to get rid in the end because I had to move to
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if you call them bungalows over there, a single story house. So I had to move
All
to one
right.
of those. So give up a 3-bedroom house and go to a small 1-bedroom bungalow. So there's just no room for it. So it was a
So
chore.
that moment has come. What you now see on screen is a 480. It's a 4K 60 capture,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
super sampled down to a 480 image, which you may or may not know. A 480 image only requires a 6 meg upload,
Damn.
which for streamers is like the covenant. I mean, it gives you so much room to do so many other things during your stream. Let me know in the chat and panelists, what do you think of the 4K 60 super sample to 480 30?
Looks fine. Looks
Looks no
good enough.
different to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still
Exactly.
pausing when you're moving.
Mm.
Sometimes you still stopping dead, and then it's freezing, and
Yeah.
then you're moving on again. But it's still doing that. But it's no different graphic wise I can see at all.
Yeah, which goes down to K.Y Bob's crappy internet at the time. They said there's an SNT or a SNR issue with my node that they have to replace. It's affecting my upload. But with the software that I used to render this super sampled, it told me that it was only going to be at a 6 megabit bit rate. 6 megabits. That's amazing when you start talking about streaming and podcasting. 6 megabits gives you so much room to do so much else. So if anybody has a question about how I may have did this, if you don't already know, then message me on Twitter at K.Y Bob, and I will be sure to let you know. I'm not going to say it here in the stream because I'm not endorsed by either one of these companies that I used as far as the software goes to accomplish this. So,
what are you running, Elgato?
No, I'm running AverMedia.
Oh, gotcha.
AverMedia
I can't
4K Gamer Live 4K.
I can't come in on this discussion because I'm not a content creator or streamer, so I have no idea.
Have you had kids? Then you're a content creator.
I knew you'd come in with something new.
There you go, Noof. I love it.
You know I've had kids, you swine.
All right. Well, now with that comment, that brings us to the end of our episode. I would like to go down the panel and let everybody be recognized where they can be found at in the community. Powerman 4K, where can people find you at?
Oh man, I just want to say real quick, this was an awesome episode. I just want to thank everybody for coming out, checking out the podcast, man. It had a lot of great interactions tonight. My name is Powerman 4K. I'm on Twitter at Powerman 4K, and I am Powerman 4K on all gaming gamer tags, channels, whatever you want to call it. If you want to catch me on Twitter. I'll probably be out there talking and chatting and interacting with fellow gamers, man. And you guys have a good night.
Yeah, nobody else wanted that moniker, Powerman 4K. Don't feel bad. Nobody else wanted K.Y Bob either. So we got that market cornered.
Yeah, right.
Assassin Lupa, please, where can people find you?
Well, I'd like to say thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a joy. We've had a lot of good discussions, and I do like a lot of fun and discussions. Thank you, chat. You've been awesome. It's been great chatting to you too. And you can find me at Assassin Looper on Xbox Live and on Twitter. And you can also find me on Friday nights, 2 a.m. UK time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and fuck Pacific. And on the Xbox Ultimate podcast.
Great show.
Great show. We have a
Great
laugh.
show.
The Great Eight, as we're now called. We were called the Magnificent Seven, but now it don't ring so well. But hey ho, we're the Great Eight.
Well, you could have called yourself the seven from heaven, right?
Yeah, we could have. Yeah, so that's where you'll find me, and it's been awesome, guys. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you all gaming because that's what I do. Game.
We're the seven from heaven because we got so many holy shit moments.
It has been a joy, Assassin Lupa. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, anytime, you know that, Bob. Always there for you.
And Fabio down in South America. Brother, where can people find you?
Well, always great to be here. Thank you so much for this awesome episode, Lupa, Noof Nukem. Thank you so much for being here. Glad to have met Lupa. Always good to talk with Nukem. And you can find me on Twitter as at FBOAmorin97, as well as on Xbox as BullFunLizard8. You can catch me here on this awesome podcast, and hopefully you can catch me on the Tuesday podcast sometimes, because right now I'm on vacation from work. And, and not just that, but you can find me on video reviews that we might end up doing, as well as live stream gameplays.
Nice. And Slayer exclusive, where can people find you?
So you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on my own channel on YouTube at Slayer Exclusive Gaming, and also obviously with you guys here every Thursday night. And I'm also, on the XBL Party Podcast channel doing some reviews every now and then. I think I have a new one coming up very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for the show. It was great, as always.
Yeah, it's always awesome having you here, Slayer. All right. Arnold, where can people find you?
Retired.
One last time.
I am retired. As we're going to find me. What was that?
Oh, shit.
Oh, it's Safe House.
One last time. One last time.
Golfing in California.
First of all, guys, I'm going to keep this PG because it's the kind of podcast I'm not on Noof Nukum's channel anymore, guys. Let me tell you that right now. But this is a dynamite show. First of all, on behalf of Noof Nukum, he wants to thank you for all your support, being behind his back, because, honest to God, it's nice to have real good people around him. Lots of people all acting all like that stuff, but you know what? They got that big knife and they go up through your spinal cord. You know what I'm saying? Noof Nukem, he's been stabbed a few times. That's probably why he wants to step away a little bit too. Try to figure out who the fuck the real people are in this world and who the fake ones is. But anyway, that's not my game. I just wanted to say hello and I'll let you get out of here.
All right.
Noof Nukem, we always love having you on here with that charisma and that positivity and that outstanding voice rendition. Yes, I love it.
Of course,
This
it's
is
always
your
good to be
host.
here. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for having me in the Noof Nukem on the show. It's always great. If you ever have any questions, you know me. I'm great. I can do all the answers for you here. I love the footage playing in the background. It looks really good. These little giant-headed people walking around. I'm not even sure. Was he moving over there? Easy? It looked like it was moving a giant cheese puff in the game. It was crazy. I love it. It's great. Look at these little penis snob characters in the footage. Great. Awesome stuff there.
Noof, I can honestly
Oh,
say
man.
that you will be missed in your time of reflection away from the community. Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Don't remind me of that, please.
I'll be back. I'll be back from
I'm
time to time. Like I
yeah,
said,
I'm
it's
still
not
gonna
like
play
I'm gonna
games
be
with my
just
phone.
completely absent. I'll be back. If the news is big and good, as Bob, we had a private conversation the other night. I'll still be around. You hit me up on the invite, and we'll see what we can do. But I just won't be in a regular time slot for a little while and doing that kind of stuff. But you know where to find me, guys. At least for the next couple of weeks on my channel, Noof Nukem, over on YouTube, Gaming After Dark Tuesday nights, and then of course Good Morning Xbox on Sunday morning. So thanks again for sending out the bat signal. Glad to be here. Sorry guys if I interrupted a few times tonight. I don't mean to be rude by any means. But yes, but thanks for having me here. It's always a lot of fun.
Claps.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it was awesome. And this is your host, K.Y Bob. You can find me here every Thursday, of course, being your hostess with the mostest Southern drawl, and Xbox, Twitter, and PlayStation under the same moniker. Thank you all for listening. It was great to see you all. It was great to see you. And thanks for telling a friend. And good night. Have a great weekend.
Catch you all gaming, guys.
Yes, ma'am.